We have got Ariel.
Hi.
Hi. What you got for us?
I was just wondering if you can just tell me one fact about evolution that's true, assuming that's what you believe in.
And one fact about evolution that's true.
Yeah.
It's a very broad theory.
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean by that? Do you want an example of evolution that has been observed?
No, I mean just basically like the creation of the Earth.
It is not evolution.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with evolution.
And no, also I mean humans evolving from.
Yeah.
You know.
They did.
Bacteria.
How's that? Okay. You understand that to get from a thing like a bacteria to a thing like a human being would take a huge number of transitional steps?
Right.
Okay. Well, then I will answer your question. Yes, human beings, ultimately, if you trace our ancestry back, you'll get to a thing like a bacteria.
But, I mean, there's never been any fossils found that have proven the transitions.
But you don't. But that's not how transitions work. Here, let me explain something to you about transitional forms. Okay. People who criticize evolution talk about transitional forms as if what you gotta find is like a creature with that's going from. I try to find a good example.
Snake to a bird.
Yeah, snake. Something that's going from a snake to a bird that's half snake and half bird. Well, it doesn't work like that. Every single life form that ever existed is a complete life form unto itself, right? It's a species. It's that over time, separate groups slowly diverge. But all the time, every single fossil of every single one is a complete creature. It's not like a hybrid monster. You never find that because that's not what evolution says you should find.
Okay. I mean, I've also heard that some creatures just took very large steps in evolution to become other creatures, and that's why there were no transitions found.
There's a concept that I'm not a paleontologist. I'm not an evolutionary biologist, so I can only tell you what I've heard. My understanding is that there's this concept called punctuated equilibrium that says that that what looks like gaps in the fossil record might be explained by short periods of relatively rapid evolution. But when we say short periods of relatively rapid evolution, we mean like 5 million years instead of 50 million years, right?
Yeah.
That kind of short period.
Okay.
But nobody ever said, no scientist ever said that, like, you know, a kangaroo gave birth to a platypus.
Right.
Right? It doesn't work like that. Nobody ever said that.
Well, actually, I have heard in the book I read that they said that one day a dinosaur laid an egg and a bird came out.
Yeah, no, that's not how it works. Whoever wrote that book was lying to you about what evolution says.
Okay.
What came out of that egg was a dinosaur that was very, very slightly more like a bird than the dinosaur that it was born from. That's all.
Okay.
But to our eyes, practically imperceptible.
Well, can I?
We're not saying a dinosaur with feathers.
Okay.
Very tiny.
I'm just wondering, like, what's your theory on how the Earth was created?
That's called cosmology. That's basically how, you know, dirt and stuff like that in space forms and collapses into planets.
Yeah, gravity. See, the universe is full of dust. Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
Okay, there's like matter all over the place. If you look at Hubble telescope pictures, you can see these huge clouds of dust. Well, there's gravity, right? And gravity, even a piece of dust generates gravity. It pulls things toward it.
Yeah.
And when enough stuff pulls toward itself, it starts to clump, and then it gets, you know, to be a bigger and bigger clump of stuff. And that is ultimately where you get, like, suns and planets and things from.
Right, but where can life be formed from dust?
Yeah,
that's a whole different. That's a different question.
Well, I mean, that was like
those are two separate areas.
And
Yeah. Here is a website for you and everyone else who's watching to go to.
Caller, you sound kind of young. How old are you?
15.
15? Okay.
Yeah.
I hope this isn't over Ariel's head.
Well, for you and anyone else who's
studied-
watching, there's a website on your screen, talkorigins.org. They have lots of articles and facts on there which kind of talk about how do planets form, where did life come from, how did life first start, what is evolution, where does evolution pick up, where are theories about it, all that kind of stuff. It explains a lot of it in detail. So that is a good site.
I was just wondering what your opinion was, because I'm pretty...
My opinion,
Our opinion is mostly covered by that site.
My opinion is that there are people called scientists, and their job is to look at the evidence and try to figure out what happened. And then there are people called preachers, and their job is to take a 2,000-year-old holy book and tell people that that book was already right about stuff that nobody had ever studied because God told the people that wrote the book the truth, right? And of those two groups, when it comes to things like evolution and the origins of the Earth, I trust the scientists and not the preachers. That's my opinion.
But I'm just saying, I don't find any truth in anything that they speak because nothing's actually been proven.
Well, if you go to that website, they can show you all kinds of stuff that's been proven.
Yeah, you haven't looked all that hard then. So, anyway, we're going to let you go because we've only got about a minute left on the show. But thanks all for calling.
Yeah.
Yes, science has proven itself time and time and time again that it's a pretty reliable way of looking at the world and making progress. The church doesn't make all that much progress in the world. It's science that gave us the polio vaccine.
You know the kind of progress that religion makes? It's that caller who was willing to look at abortion from the standpoint of the biological evidence rather than religious dictates, right? The way that religion evolves is people slowly over time start to draw away from it and look at the actual facts.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's a good thing.
So, if you did not get a chance to get on the air this week, we're very sorry about that. We'll be on next week. But you can write to us in the meantime, tv@atheist-community.org. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
And remember, it's election season.
Yes, you can go vote for your candidate of choice.
Vote. There's early voting.
And we will see everyone next week.
Bye-bye.
You can go to extremes with impossible schemes. You can laugh if your dreams fall apart at the seams.